Hey y'all, how y'all doing? I hope all is well. I hope everything is going well. And if it's not, it's going to get better. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about some extra hidden gems when it comes to locks. I've done videos like this, but it was not titled that title that I just said, extra hidden gems about locks. You see me reach over. I have my tea, so I'm going to sip it and go from there. So let's talk about the extra hidden gems. So, like, a lot of people will ask, like, I don't even want to say ask, but they feel like, some people feel like in the beginning they're not going to ever fall in love with their locks. Like, they feel like that their hair needs to be long for them to fall in love with their locks. Like, y'all, I love my locks. I have loved them since the beginning. My locks looked weird to me because I had a certain vision in my mind in the beginning of what I thought my locks would look like, which I've seen many people with locks. So I just assumed my locks was going to look like that, but this is how they looking, right? The 2-strand pattern, I think we're out of there. I'm just going to give y'all a close-up. I think we're out of there. I think in a lot of them it's going. I thought it was going to take longer, but it seems like it's disappearing. And I don't love my locks because, oh, they got a lot longer and I love them. I love them just because they help me and have helped me to grow to become a better person. But on top of that, like, I love them because, like, look at the transformation. Like, y'all saw in the beginning, I did like 8 months real short on these platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. So go check that out. But, like, do you see it? Like, you know, so that's the first thing. You fall in love with your locks. You don't have to have super long locks for you to fall in love with your locks. You can fall in love with them when they're not as long. For some people, I understand, they feel like they're not going to be that girl unless they had the extra stuff, which is the extensions, and that's their thing. So they do their thing, but for me, as for me and my locks, we didn't do that, and I love my locks. Y'all, like, look at them. They just beautiful, you know? And I love them not because they got longer, but because they're just beautiful. So you're going to fall in love with them in your timing when you learn to accept that this is how your hair looks locked. I don't know no other way to put it. People like, when am I going to fall in love? When you accept the way that your hair looks locked. When you accept it shrunken, because it's even more shrunken than when you have loose natural hair. When you just accept that this is how it looks. You know, we may get to a year in January and my locks may not even look like this. But every month, as time goes on, I fall in love more with my locks, and it's really just an acceptance thing. That's why I tell people about not putting the extensions in, because it's like you are not accepting of yourself at all stages. That means, like, when you do the extensions, for some people, I understand their self-esteem is low and they feel like they just can't do that and carry on. They can tell me, like, oh, well, I have lock extensions and, you know, my self-esteem can be super high, but it's like, no, like, your self-esteem is just low. And so I'm being very blunt about that. And so you only are going to love certain parts of yourself when you see the length or see your hair the way you want it to be. You're not going to love yourself in all forms, and that's okay. Like, people try to convince and say, oh, well, you know, I'm still getting to locks, I'm just adding the extensions. It's like, you can spin that to me. I don't argue about it. You know, if you like it, I love it. That's your thing. I just, you know, for me, I know that falling in love with myself the way that I am now and the confidence that I have is not based off of the length of my hair. So me adding extensions is not going to help me fall in love with myself even more. When you lock your hair, like I've said it before, it teaches you to love yourself in your rawest form. And like, when you're doing extensions and covering up the length because you don't like how short your hair looks, or you're getting made fun of, or some people said they've heard people say that their locks were like a struggle and things like that, and that connotation, you know, you're just making excuses, and that's okay. You know, when you're ready to come to terms with it, you'll remove the extensions. But it's like, it's more beautiful when you let your hair rock out and be like it is now versus you throwing something on top. It's people that wear lock extensions, and it's like, I've seen their locks before the extensions were put in. I'm like, they don't even need the extensions. Their hair is beautiful. So it's all about your perception and how you view yourself. So if you don't view yourself in a positive light, then yeah, you want to go run to get extensions, because you just don't view yourself in a positive light unless something like that is added. But if you view yourself in a positive light no matter what, then you don't need to add extra length or extensions. And that's what the lock journey teaches you when you go through the traditional way. That I don't need to add something extra to add to what's already there, because I can't add, it's already there. So, that tangent, I wanted to talk about that. Another extra hidden gem for locks is they're always going to change. Like, if you see all my videos when I go through the months of showing you and showcasing everything that my locks went through each month, every month my locks were changing. They don't look the same like they did in the beginning. Like, I look back on pictures because I take a lot of pictures. They don't look the same, and that's just a thing of, they don't look the same because your locks are always maturing, and you can see that. As if you didn't add anything extra, you can always see what your hair is doing. You feel me? But like, I just think that, most people, like I said, they will try to spin it when they have the lock extensions because they're just not there with self-esteem yet, and that's okay. We're all on our own journeys. They would try to spin it and be like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, words I'm looking for, I'm sorry. They'll try to make it seem like, oh, well, I'm like, I hear people say struggle, and why do I have to struggle with you and things like that. And it's like, this journey is what you make of it. So if you take what everybody is saying, those that said, oh, it was a struggle, or, oh, I went through, I hate saying this, but the ugly phase, there is none of that. Locks are beautiful in every stage. Y'all have seen me, my locks have been beautiful every stage. You feel me? Up till now. If you keep taking on that perception and you keep listening to that, I keep telling y'all, it's the subconscious is what you're listening to. I've talked about it so many times. So if it's constantly hitting your subconscious, you're going to feel like, no, let me go through the lock extension method, because it's like, it's constantly hitting my subconscious. And when it comes out and hits my subconscious, I couldn't see myself doing that. Those people that are saying like, oh, it's a struggle, or I went through the ugly stage, like, their self-esteem, just because their locks are longer, that does not mean their self-esteem is higher. If they're talking about, oh, it was an ugly stage, or, oh, it was always a struggle, and oh my God, like, their self-esteem is not higher. They just feel like they look better now because they have the length and their locks are longer, and they feel like they're getting the recognition, the superficial recognition that they want to get. Like, so I just, if you're constantly listening to that, then you're going to always feel like that, and you're going to always feel like you need to add the extensions till your hair gets longer, and then you're not going to feel like your hair is beautiful unless your hair is long. And the lock journey teaches you to learn that you are beautiful without that. So, there's that. The other hidden gem about locks is like, they're a vibe. Like, every time I do my hair, I love it. I love it. Like, locks is flowing, stiff wear. Like, and this is all mine. I grew it. It's mine. And I love it. And I'm glad I grew it this way and I didn't put something on top. Like, I love it. Like, I'm glad I just went through the process. Like, so many people have locked their hair up from watching me, and they have confidence, not because it's me talking to them, telling them that, and feeding them a hoop dream. They have confidence because, like, they just love their hair. They realize their hair is all that in its locked state. Locks is all about, with the journey, accepting how your hair is, what it looks like, what it does. You feel me? If you don't ever accept that, you're always going to feel like you need extensions. If you don't accept that, it doesn't matter how beautiful you are, you're always going to feel like you need to add something to what's already there, So, like, there's that. Y'all know I'm a real person. People that choose the lock extension method, like I said, if they feel like they're not that girl, they're going to use lock extensions. I'm doing a video, son. My son in the background asking me, okay. They're going to, if they don't feel like they're that girl, they're going to add the extra lock extensions in and the extra stuff and be like, I feel like I'm that girl, and you don't have to do that. We're beautiful the way we are, the way God created us. And that's what I'll be trying to showcase to people. So when people be like, I just locked my hair yesterday, or X, Y, and Z, like, girl, I'll be hype. I'll be wanting to do a backflip. Like, yes, let's get it. And they don't do lock extensions. A lot of people that come across my page, and I don't be like, oh, this is the only way, or forcing them or nothing. They just want to do it. They just want to do it. And, people that lock their hair and don't use lock extensions, the girls that get it, and the girls that don't. And, if you don't feel like you're going to be that girl because you don't have extensions, then you just don't feel that way. And that's a you thing. That's not an everybody else thing. So, I've always been that girl this whole journey. And my locks were not what made me feel like I'm that girl. Just the growth is what made me realize that I'm that girl. I have a beautiful personality. So it was not, the lock journey added because I went on it, and it was just more than just locks. It was me learning and divulging from things, but also learning myself. So it does that for you. And you can be that girl without lock extensions. Like, you'll look back, if you really was to lock your hair without the lock extensions and do it the traditional way, you'll look back at pictures and be like, oh my God, my locks were so beautiful. Like, I'll do that the whole journey. I've just been in awe, amazed. You know, my locks never cease to amaze me. They look beautiful. You feel me? But I'm not going to be adding like lock extensions. I don't need to. They are beautiful the way they are. I've done so many different styles. If you are new to my channel, you can go on my platforms and see that I've done so many different ways. Even though my locks are short, I can pin them up if I need to go somewhere, all that good stuff. So just keep that in mind. The other thing about locks is more so like with what I've learned with locks is you definitely need to take pictures. I'm gonna sip my tea. Take pictures, because taking pictures is a quintessential thing for your lock journey, because you can look back when you feel like your hair is not growing. Same thing with loose natural hair, and be like, yo, like, I see it. You feel me? So take pictures. Definitely do that. I take pictures. I've been taking pictures my whole journey. I just look back from like when my hair was red to, you know, like I had the other dye, which was blonde if I'm not mistaken, like when I first started, to even now. Like, I made a mistake with like dyeing my locks and only use one box of dye, and my locks still look dope. So it's just like, it's not even coming at nobody, like I said, throughout this whole thing that I'm speaking about their self-esteem, but it's like, that's just the reality and the facts of things. And so they can spin it and say it whatever way they want to say it, but they have a lot to work on, and that's okay, because we're all in different places. But I don't want you to feel like you need to be wearing lock extensions, because girl, if you do it without it, like, you'll be looking like, my God, I can't cover my locks up. Like, I couldn't see myself covering this up. It's just so beautiful. And my locks aren't super long, like, but they're beautiful, okay? And I take pride in them, and I love them. They're my babies. They're my boys. I've had them for almost 9 months. On the 13th, my God, about to be 9 months. They'll be 9 months. So, you know, there's always that. But I want y'all to keep that in mind. Like, even with this journey too, like, I didn't really have much negativity when it came to my lock journey with people saying things. I don't really get that. Probably because they can read off of me, it's not going to bother me, and I love my hair. And I really do. I love my locks. Like, I'm not going to remove them. I'm not. This is the only set I'm having, okay? Like, this is my whole thing, okay? Like, you know, I love my hair. So those were the extra gems I wanted to just, you know, give y'all. It's more so about an acceptance thing. Like, this journey is about accepting your hair the way it looks. And that might take time. But if you do lock extensions, you could have something else in life that happens. You know, our faces don't always look the same. Our bodies don't always look the same. And something detrimental can happen to you, and you can feel like it's crippling. And when you've been like, okay, I can fix my hair, my locks not being long with lock extensions and things like that. When you go through something that's detrimental to you, then you're going to feel the same way about when you go through something that's crippling or something that's going to happen, because we don't always look the same. So that's why I shared what I shared with y'all. I hope it helps y'all, because I really want to uplift y'all. But like, I went through the journey because I was just like, you know, in the process of everything, I don't want it to be like, you know, I'm not going to always look the same. We get older, we get wrinkles, we get all that. I don't want to be so dependent on what I look like and things like that, and having to add to feel like I need extra, that, you know, something else in life happens that it's the end of the world, and I'm like, oh my God, and I'm in shambles, because it's like my beauty doesn't come from my outward appearance, but from my spirit. That's where our beauty comes from. So I hope this helps, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.